Shanti Charan, ladies and gentlemen. Shanti Charan.
Hello.
Did I say it right? Like Charan to the store?
Yeah, you said it right.
What a great little tip to remember that name.
But nobody's yet giving me anything when I tell them that. I'm like, why don't you run and grab me a drink? And they're like, Charan, okay.
People don't remember it. Now, Shanti, that's now you don't. You corrected the shanty.
I did.
It must drive you crazy when someone says shanty.
You know, the passive part of me sometimes is just like, fuck it, I'll let them. But then I'm like, no, Tom needs to know how to say my name right.
I said it right. I didn't say it right when I went on stage, but afterwards.
I should have yelled it from the audience. It's Shanti.
Shanti.
You know what's funny is when a comic introduces
no one ever mispronounces Tom.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Tame. What? Tame? How do you get fucking tame out of that?
When a comic tries to introduce you and says, we've been friends for years. I've known her for so long. Give it up for Shanti. And the first thing I'm like, is this fucker got my name wrong years? Lies.
That's nice. So you're now, when did we meet? Was it 15 years ago when you started doing it? Let's hear that story.
We did. So we met at the Punchline. I started comedy in 2010. So it was my first year that I started comedy, and I used to go to the Punchline to watch. You know, once you're a comic, you get to go in for free. So I used to just be like, oh my God, I'm going to watch all the comics I could watch that come to visit. And, you know, you came in, and that's one of the shows that I was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, Tom Rhodes. And I knew you through your worldliness, your travel.
Tell me more.
You know, you're a citizen of the world. No, yeah.
I'm rebuilding an ego here. Please.
I was captivated by travel and being immersed in different cultures, and being able to have your humor transcend in different cultures, because, you know, culturally we all find different things funny. So if you can be funny in this place and then you can be funny in that place, like how cool is that, you know? So I found that aspect really neat. And so that's why I remember when we first met, because I was like, oh man, this is a really cool comic. And then I needed to remind you of that now, 14 years later now. I was there.
No, it's good. It's good to hear.
We met once before.
But I was nice, and you were just starting out?
I was just starting out, and you were nice. And so that's always nice when comics you
started at the San Francisco Punchline?
I started in the Bay Area.
Right.
So San Francisco Punchline.
You did a couple.
I think I started getting up in my first 2 years after the process that they do. But yeah, San Francisco Punchline is where all my large comedic memories have been formed.
That place changed my life. I think that's the greatest comedy club on the planet Earth.
I love it.
One of them.
I've developed so much.
And I told you when we were talking, like me moving from Florida to San Francisco, like changed me who I am as a comedian and as a person. And then I developed a much smarter act because I lived in San Francisco.
And that gives off the culture part of it, is like the culture of Florida is like, well, haven't lived, but I don't know, it was like blah 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 blah. That's like Florida how they talk, right?
That's
hey, blah, 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 blah.
We have a very rich culture.
Enunciation.
Jimmy Buffett, Tommy Bahama.
Yeah, Florida's amazing.
Shirts.
You know, and then you come over here to California, you have such a different perspective.
Well, it's hilarious. Like last night, did you hear? And it's so funny because I was in Florida a month ago, and I almost stopped to comment on it, but I was at the beginning of my show, and I just, you know, I didn't want to start on an awkward note, but I said this on stage in Florida. When I'm on stage in Florida and I say I live in California, there's like 5% of the audience or 5 people will just go, they'll groan. So last night, I'm in California, and I say I'm originally from Florida, and then there's always like 5 people that go,
yeah, you it's idiot.
like Jesus Christ, get over yourself.
You gotta you're like, well, I still have California in me. I still got Florida in me.
Stop watching the fucking news, you know?
We're just all
I
so
made the decision,
judgmental.
I'm not choosing sides anymore. I'm just choosing individuals.
Yeah.
You know, I know scummy people on both sides. I know good people on both sides.
Where do I feel more at ease? Because that's the adult world, is we do meet so many people with so many different ways of thinking. And as a comic, your objective is to still create laughter in that space with so many different perspectives. So if you're so against and hating a different perspective where you can't get to the laugh point, it's kind of like, well, this is a blockade to my funny, I think. And so if I can get a Trump, because there are Trump supporters in the audiences, sometimes we don't know who they are unless they're wearing
sometimes they're wearing all their shit.
unless they're, and even
that's funny. You never see someone go out like wearing like full Biden shit, you know, like you see people wearing like full Trump shit. Like,
the Biden guy might get beat up.
Like I went to Jerusalem in 2018. And I took my mother, and it was really special. But like all these different religions all had different outfits, you know? And then there's different like kind of outfits for your ranking in the religion, you know? Like, I mean, and you know, I mean, I mean, as someone who appreciates fashion and style, I mean, like your fashion choices are made for you.
And you got to
when
show
you're
the
like so
hierarchy.
fanatically into something.
Yeah.
And so now it's like spilling over into like politics with
Totally.
you know.
It's just a different way to judge. We like to judge. What are you
I mean,
wearing? How
like I
much
don't
are
have
you
any.
wearing?
I've never put political stickers on my car. I wouldn't want someone to key my car.
I don't want them to tailgate me just because they know I'm a fan of whoever XYZ, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I just like Kamala because she's Indian. Well, she's held black men in prison since the 70s,
That's
you
the thing.
bitch.
I said something to someone about it, and I was talking to a super liberal person. And about like, oh, this was like when Biden picked her as his running mate. I was like, oh, that's so great, a woman of color. And she was like, no, fuck that. She's a cop.
Yeah.
Do you know how many black men she put in jail over fucking marijuana charges? And I was like, what the fuck?
I'm one of those too. And my mom was like, but she's Indian. And I'm like, don't throw identity politics at me. I'm not voting for her just because she's Indian.
I was, you know, I was talking to a woman of color, and I think I was, you know, trying to get into her good graces when I said it.
We like to keep you on your toes. You don't know what we're going to like. But that reminds me, because I think Kamala Harris actually was dating Willie. Maybe this was during the time that you were actually in San Francisco with comedy.
Willie Brown?
Willie Brown.
No way.
He brought her in.
The mayor?
It's like, yeah, she wasn't even in politics. And then she dated her headliner.
Wow.
And then she got into politics, and then now she's fucking killing it.
Wow.
You know, now she's VP. Wow. Yeah, she was a hottie back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, she still is a hottie.
Yeah.
You know, so good for her. That was Willie and her. You know, he was getting out there too.
Okay. So how much is, I mean, I guess you're a woman of color from the Bay Area. You've got to be slightly political and aware of things.
You're assuming they don't know I'm a woman of color.
Okay.
The audience. I'm just kidding. Now they know.
I gave it away.
What were you saying?
Everyone, you know, Shanti's such a white name. It's you can't go to a Target in the Midwest without.
I was trying to use my white voice this whole time.
Well, tell us about because you're such a fascinating person. I want to talk to you about stand-up, but also, you know, your regular day job. You work in a prison?
I do. So, well,
I think that's where I was trying to get with what is your political awareness, and like, did you choose this as like some crusade for womanhood, or I mean, or was it just a random job you got?
It was a random. So I got my master's, and then I got hired at a college.
What was your master's in?
Communication studies, emphasis on social justice. So
there it is.
There's it came from there, but I didn't know I would end up within working within incarceration. But then the college, since enrollment is so low after COVID in colleges, they've expanded to getting the state to pay for college programs for people within incarceration. And that's like guaranteed pay, essentially. Here we have to wait for students to enroll, but there it's like renting through Section 8 as a landlord. You got it guaranteed because the government pays for it with that, instead of looking for a tenant to rent. And so they needed a teacher because none of the full-time teachers really wanted to leave the college campus to go. And I was like, I need a job. And I think there will be stories. And so I accepted it.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up, I'm a really cool teacher. I think, of course, I am a woman and I work in the men's area, and they're usually like 25 to 50. So, I am in the age range where some women may feel like that makes me feel uncomfortable, but I feel really safe. They have to earn their way into the RCP program, which is a rehabilitative program to help them not recidivate once they get out. And so they're respectful, they're enthusiastic, they show up.
You used that word on stage last night. What does that mean?
Recidivism. Fuck up. Yeah. Why are you back here? Why are you revisiting me?
I have a pretty good vocabulary, but
totally. You play. That's how I do Duolingo. I just kind of be like, what does that word mean? I just assume it within. But yeah, so they don't come back. And college education, hopefully, since also they get to go to school for free once they get out at the community colleges. And so
that's such a California thing, right? I don't think other states are educating their prisoners.
I'm like, go get a couple DUIs and go to school for free. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get DUIs. That's bad.
No, my father was killed by a drunk driver.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You didn't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now you feel bad about, trying to guilt me about.
If that guy ends up in my class, he's getting an F.
No matter how hard he tries. That's hilarious. I appreciate it. I'd whack someone for you.
Thank you.
That's great. Whatever my small.
But it's a really fun experience, honestly. The guys, I feel like jail and within
jail is fun.
Jail is because there's prison, and then I also work within jail. And right now, I'm mainly working at a jail because of the commute. San Quentin is very far, but the jails there's
you go to San Quentin to work.
Jails, no. Now I'm working out of. Well, I can't say actually. I'm not allowed to say where I work, but I'm working out of county jails in the Bay Area now, which is much more easier for me commute wise. But the guys in there. In my class, they're just a bunch of, they're just like comedians that got caught doing whatever the fuck.
So it's all men. It's all men that you're teaching. I thought it was women.
Women's section too, but honestly, I prefer the men's section, and it's actually a non-feminist thing of me to say because the women are already so under-resourced, especially within incarceration. But the women's section is a lot more sad.
Oh wow.
And so I find my work experience not as fun. And I know that makes me sound terrible. Whoever's listening, that made me sound like a complete asshole because they do need the help. But it's also more difficult. There's a lot more trauma. There's a lot more sexually based trauma from men that they're going to. So I could have the same lesson in a dude class and we're having fun joking around about stuff. And then I have the same lesson in the women's class and it's not as ha-ha-y.
Right.
And if I'm already in jail, I think I want to just have funsies. So I don't really want to do the
You want to kill no matter what the audience is.
Yeah. And it's like we're already dealing with heroin addicts.
I had a bad set today at
fucking shit, right?
What are you teaching them?
I teach I have 5 different courses, so they'll repeat. They'll take me over and over again. I teach intercultural communication, interpersonal communication.
Intercultural,
so that's when we communicate with people from different cultures, like in the workspace. If someone is Muslim or Hindu or Jewish or gay, how do we communicate with different groups? And then interpersonal is how do we communicate with our mom or our dad who brings these should be
trauma. Basic classes taught everywhere,
right?
Yeah.
And then I teach conflict management and listening. Listening is the most boring class I find to teach. And then but it's business so important. Communication.
Yeah.
It's just boring to teach listening. Fucking listen to this. Listen to this. It's just, I don't know. I want to have stimulating conversation about let's talk about that one argument you had with so-and-so and where could you have been better? Let's unpack that.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is your favorite prison movie?
Oh, man. I mean, Shawshank Redemption.
Jesus. Yeah, there you go.
Love
okay.
That movie.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's hard to beat that.
That's a really
good
great
choice.
Movie. Yeah, I just think that movie, yeah. Yeah,
okay, you win. I've totally had forgotten about that. But the second best prison movie of all time is Bad Boys.
Oh.
Starring Sean Penn. Not the one with Will Smith and
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence, thank you. And then they just came out with part 2. But there was a movie called Bad Boys in the late 80s. And I think it takes place in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And Sean Penn is in there. And there's this big goon guy that, inmate that runs shit. And he's got his little minions and everybody's, there's real tough customers. and they're gonna get him. And there's this great scene where he takes his, like, they get a certain amount of like coins or tokens for the soda machine, and he knows that they're gonna come get him. So he takes his pillowcase and he goes down to where the soda machine is, and you see like the dude's up on like the 3rd level, and they're looking down on him. They're gonna come and get him, and he's pumping his tokens or his quarters into and he gets like 6 Cokes or 8 Cokes, and he puts them in the pillowcase and just beats the living shit out of like 5 guys with this. It's a great trick.
That reminds me of that one other movie where they took the socks and then they beat him all at night, and he was it was like a military thing.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that was Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, where the
guy who killed himself. What's wrong with you, numb nuts? Did your parents not show you enough love?
I don't even remember what he's saying, but he just went off, and it was like a classic. I love rewatching when he yells at them. That one scene where he was pitching like for like a minute and a half. Just
Stanley Kubrick. The first half of that film is just brilliant.
Yeah. So that scene reminds me of that. Yeah, they do end up making weapons. They'll end up confiding to me in different things that they can make. Not necessarily weapons, but they're really crafty with an incarceration, with the different things they'll figure out how to do to get whatever job done they need to get done. And so either it be using a pillowcase and cans of Coke to create a weapon, or using something to make a lighter, or hand sanitizer to make alcohol. They call it Hennessy. Yeah, the hand sanitizer.
They're making alcohol out of hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know how you ferment that or what, but it's wild in there.
Wow.
The fruit is just, that's beginner shit.
Okay.
You know? Hennessy is like, I don't know, the red label or whatever. Like, it goes up in like quality.
What are you learning out of this whole experience about human nature?
Honestly, masculinity is a very sad thing.
Yeah, right?
I think that's what I learned the most, is I think the performance of masculinity that needs to happen to ensure safety or ensure just having chill vibes, that's sad.
Yeah.
Not being able to be yourself, because so many things can be considered feminine or gay, because we conflate gender performance with sexuality. It's like, just because this guy does this thing in this way doesn't mean he's gay, so everyone's got to act all tough all the time.
That's the house that I grew up in.
And you can't cry and you can't skip. It's like, when did skipping become gay? Like,
it's the motion of it.
But why is that gay? The dick's not in your mouth.
But how come, like, at no gay parade has there ever been like skipping? Wouldn't that be fun?
It doesn't mean gayness. When did skipping become? I want to see more straight men fighting this.
Yeah.
Honestly, Tom,
masculinity is a burden. I mean, you heard that thing I say on stage about the 3 things I hate most in life is stupidity, bad manners, and aggressive male behavior. And that includes violence.
Yeah, aggressive. It's, and loud. It can be, it's sad. And I see that they're in an emotional jail themselves while being in physical jail because of these confines of masculinity and the need to perform alpha for your safety. It's like I had a student that came to me after class that confided in me about an assignment and opened up and started tearing up. And I could just imagine he's not allowed to do that anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And that's sad, because we should be able to cry if we want to let out an emotion, I think.
Crying's great. But yeah, I had an older brother, was, everything was F word this, and he didn't. He thought men shouldn't cry, and yeah.
I even feel sensitive with aggressive language, like cussing, when it's angrily. Like, I'll say fuckity fuck, but if someone's like, "What the fuck," then I'm like, "Huh?" Like I'll get like, I feel like a little scared girl in me got like if someone uses that language too much, there's a lot of comedians that talk vulgarly sometimes and aggressively with cussing, and it sounds angry. And I'll have to be like, I can't talk to you as much if you keep this tone the whole time. It stresses me out. It's very high frequency and like angry.
And people, when they get drunk, get like that too.
Yeah. And I'm like, exactly. I'm like, you're not fun. I'm smiley. Like, I'm a smiley person. I'm huggy and smiley. And like, I love cussing. I love the word cunt, but I love saying it with a smile. You know, like, let's change the vibe of it. Like, you could say cunt. Just say cunt, but fucking cunt. Like, ooh, that sounds so angry. You know? But yeah, aggressive behavior is definitely not.
When I was on stage in England years ago, I would go, okay, I'm going to try this. And I'd do this, like stretch a little bit and just look like I'm about to do some big effort. And then I would say the C word and go, oh, there you go. It is possible.
I love that about England, actually. That's what I love about their comedies. They say the word cunt a lot.
They do.
And I actually find the word cunt refreshing. And I think we Americans are the ones oppressing the word and therefore oppressing women.
I like vagina. It sounds like it would look.
Vagina. It sounds so professional, academic.
It sounds fabulous. Whatever that is. Like, wow, vagina.
But when you say vagina, it doesn't sound like yes, it sounds like it's in a trophy, but it doesn't sound like something you eat. It sounds so medical, vagina. We're going to look at the vagina.
It sounds like a fancy 5-star dish to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it is.
So you must have just these men in prison staring at you like you're a pork chop.
Well, actually, I do desexualize myself. In jail. I'll definitely wear t-shirts, looser jeans, t-shirts. I already am a person, I'm not a makeup-y person, so I don't have that problem of dressing up for work. But, you know, I'm a beautiful lady. I'm sure they're going to get boners because they're deprived also. But yes, you know, no one has made me feel uncomfortable, luckily. Because if they do, then they'll miss out on the class because then I'll be like, this person isn't making me feel comfortable. I've had a love letter slipped to me through homework.
Okay.
When I was working in incel living. Incel means they live within the cells.
Okay.
So when I come to class, they are each let out of their cell and into the common area. So they're not incels, but incel living. One of them in his homework slipped a love letter. And so when I was grading homework and looking through it, I saw the love letter and it wasn't offensive. It was, excuse me, it was just, you know, it was like, I would love for you to show me how to finish school when I get out. And then also I think you're beautiful and things like that. And I just didn't acknowledge it. And if I did acknowledge it, he would have gotten in further trouble. Okay. And so I didn't, you know, it's a position that it puts me in too, because I'm like, fuck, like you don't get to go to no more classes after this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not even just mine, everybody else's class. You don't get no classes and you're already in a cell. And what do I know how it feels to be deprived of people for so long and trying to connect with a human? So because it wasn't offensive in any way, and the next day I went to class, I think he understood that also. And then, so I've never been like disrespected. In that way, and that's nice. So
have you felt in danger at all on this job?
At one point, yes. I used to work, and one semester I worked in the dorms, which is like 60 men, bunk beds, 2 levels, and out of the men, only 30 of them were in my class, so 30 of them were not. So they were just existing, watching TV, working out. You know, I didn't like. Then there was a new rule implemented that the guys that had to put their shirts on when I came in, because I didn't like that guys that weren't in my class were able to just work out looking at me with no shirt on. It feels fucking weird. And I'm just like, I don't want to see nipples. Like, why am I seeing nipples? And so I had to like tell them like to enforce the shirt stay on while I'm there. And then I needed them to quiet down. And then people started like yelling once. And then I'm in a glass thing. So I had to like turn around and knock on the door to be like, I need to fucking get out of here. Because the energy is angry. They're not, because we talk about things like racism and culture and I try to be delicate and respectful, but some people don't have the intellect to enter a conversation in a way to grow. And then they get aggressive and angry. And, if I can't navigate that conversation in a respectful, calm way, then I'll leave because I cry very quickly. I'm a quick crier. If I feel stress, I'll just cry.
Have you ever cried in front of these men?
I have, but in an emotional way because they've had speeches where they've teared up while sharing things. And I'm also a sucker for that. I'll cry in a second. If you share something, hardship with me, I will be there to support you, but I will also cry with you. And so I have cried. It was like a day of speeches. I fucking cried for every speech. And then I stopped crying. And then I was like, I'm sorry. It's still nice. I'm sorry. I'm not crying for your speech. yours is still very emotional too, but I think I've cried out. But yeah, they've made me cry in that way as they've seen a lot of sadness that I've had the privilege of not being exposed to. Sadness at young ages, which it's like how, of course, he ended up in jail. His uncle exposed him to crack at the age of 10.
Right.
So that's sad. I didn't cry for that.
Okay. What's the best laugh you've ever had in there?
Fuck. Every day, man.
Really?
I think recently, and this might come off a little ageist. So there was a guy in my class. He's, I think, 53. He has a daughter that's 24. And in class, we're talking about how fatherhood may impact how you navigate the world. And so he said, well, my daughter said that I can't date people in their 20s anymore. And I thought he said she can't date people in their 20s. And I was like, well, I get it. Men in their 20s are young. I could see why she'd be attracted to older men. He's like, no, she said I can't date women in their 20s. And I said, man, you wouldn't be able to get a woman in their 20s anyways. And everyone started laughing. And then he looked at me shocked in a way. And then I realized that was an ageist fucked up comment, but also he's in jail. Like, if you're going to be dating younger women, it's very hard to do broke and in jail. And that's what's fucked up of me to also further marginalize him in my own way of thinking. And so
racist.
I know. He was white.
Okay.
So he was a white.
So everything's okay.
But the funny thing was me
we can take anything.
Me making fun of the white guy brought the black guy and the Mexican, like they were laughing and clapping hands because finally someone told the white guy off because jail is so racially divided.
Right.
They've been wanting to tell the white guy off for a while and they couldn't, but I did. So they the black and the Mexican guy came together through my humor of making fun of the white guy because I don't hold back. White, black, heroin addict, I'll make fun of them all.
Are you making fun of these men? That's great.
If they bring it, sometimes, yeah. Like sometimes I'll be like, and I'm like, see, this is why you didn't turn in your homework because and I'll like come in like that. I do.
Good.
Because sometimes you need to be a little humiliated in a positive way within jail to understand. Like, I think 18 and up within college, they're adults and I'm not putting them down as like they're going to feel insecure, but some laughs I think are allowed to have where it's like, okay, that was kind of funny. Like,
right.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Now I feel bad I made fun of him.
Well, I have only ever been in jail once and I was 19 years old and it was a weekend in Little Rock, Arkansas City Jail for open container of beer. And there was not much laughter that weekend. And there was some, at first I was in the drunk tank for the first night. And then the second day I got moved over to tough guy jail.
See, tough guy jail's not funny.
No, man, it was a toilet.
You got to go to college jail.
It was like 30 guys in this one cell that probably was supposed to hold, 10, 15, I don't know. And then there's like this like silver toilet with no seat on it in the fucking middle of the room. So if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to do it in front of all these men.
I think that in itself will keep.
And I was pretty smooth. I was pretty smooth and delicious when I was 19. I don't know how the fuck I survived a weekend there, but that like that experience changed my life. I would never, and the case was thrown out.
Good.
The cop actually came on because it was a friend of mine who was mouthing off.
Yeah.
The cop came Monday morning to the hearing and said that it was my friend who had caused the trouble and shit.
That's nice.
But scared straight, I would never commit a felony. I would never, So and that was I was going to ask you, like, like from the movies and everything. So like the black guys all hang out with the black guys, and the Mexican guys hang out with the Mexican guys.
But there will be some guys that are like, this is stupid. I'm an other. That's what they'll go as. There's black, Mexican, white, others. Others can be any other culture or people who are black or Mexican that just don't feel like they need to be divided in that way because they relate to all, And I'm sure living there, they have their own conflicts, but it really seems I see positive exchanges, like friendship and like companionship, support for each other. And like they'll clap after the speeches and support. Like there'll be some nerdy ones where you're like, what the fuck is he in here for? Like tax evasion or something. And then, their support and camaraderie. And it's actually really changed how I look at the whole thing. It doesn't feel scary. It's, I'm blessed with my situation. I think where I'm teaching, the type of people who are trying to get their life together in that place, I feel really lucky for this chapter.
Are you going to continue doing this?
I think always if I can keep one class, if I end up, becoming a professor, if that ends up in my path, I'll always keep one class teaching in jail because I think, or within incarceration, because I think it keeps you stimulated. It keeps you on your toes and it keeps you exposed to maybe realities that I'm normally not exposed to, which I think keeps me down to earth, maybe.
Okay.
Because I could see the adversity people face that I wouldn't see in my own life to understand certain challenges in our system or whatever.
Well, what like big life lessons? What insights have you gotten from
Oh God, I'm just so appreciative of small things. Like I appreciate sunshine moments, just anything that's small that they're deprived of. Like if I'm craving a Twix bar, I can go get a Twix bar. If I want to hug someone, I can hug them.
Yeah. If
I want to walk my dog, like super simple. I feel like I sound so lame. I'm like, I can hug someone and walk my dog in the morning, but really
shit in privacy with the door closed.
Take 25 minutes gearing up for that shit. I don't know. Like I have that space and that existence and that agency, which is, we try to climb and aspire for all these huge things that we want, the big, big things. But then you end up in incarceration and you're like, fuck, they can't even have a fucking bowl of pho when they want it. You know, even if I show a movie or a video, which there's ways to do it, if there's a food scene, they get really sensitive. They're like, hey man, that's one thing. Like, it's really hard for us to watch food stuff because in there you get shit. And like, honestly, I think food more than sex may impact them. They're just like,
no shit.
We can just masturbate, but we can't eat a fake, beer chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy with mushrooms.
Well, I said it on stage. We're in Campbell, California, which is close to San Jose. And driving in here yesterday, one of my favorite things about this area at this time of year was all the cherry stands on the side of the road. I stopped, I bought some. They're like, fucking greatest cherries ever.
They are.
Better than candy cherry.
And then they don't even get fruits or vegetables in there, which is so sad because think of all the beautiful fruits seasonal.
Oh my Lord.
They just get, really it's 7-Eleven stuff. So anything you can get at 7-Eleven, they could maybe get access to. And then they make some wild things with it. They'll have smorgasbords, things that they make out of chips and Coke. They'll evaporate the Coke to make it into a teriyaki sauce because you use the sugar after it evaporates in the Ziploc bag after 2 weeks. I don't know.
Wow. Planning out those meals 2 weeks from now. With the evaporated Coke.
Let me get that Coca-Cola in a Ziploc bag. I'm about to make teriyaki chicken
I'm so grateful for my life. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's just being grateful for little things is man, being able to look at my phone when I leave, just, God, simple shit. Looking something up in the internet. Like at one point we started class and at the beginning of class, they were watching their TV before they entered and they said someone had died. Actually, I was mentioning Frankie Quinones, a comedian. He does the Cholo Fit thing. So a lot of the guys within incarceration, there's a lot of Latinos in the Latino communities like, oh, we know Frankie Quinones, like the Cholo Fit guy. Yeah. One guy was like, oh, we just saw that this comedian died right now. And they entered class and they said that. And I didn't have the internet for like 3 hours. So I just thought Frankie Quinones, because they said the Cholo Fit guy.
I met him not long ago.
Yeah. And they said he died. And I grew up in comedy with him. Like I've known him for so long. So I found out he died and then I was just in jail without any access.
Did he die?
He didn't die.
Right. Thank you.
Those idiots.
Yeah.
So I was trapped for fucking 3 hours
Thinking that your friend
I
did
cried.
that.
I fucking cried. I haven't even told Frankie this story yet, but I cried when I found out because I was just like, what? Frankie's dead? Like, he's so young. Like, he's just on and then I was just in jail, unable to verify, unable to look something up on the internet. That ability to verify something on the internet is I didn't even know how valuable it was. And then the second I left, I looked on my phone and Frankie was still alive. And then I failed that student. Yeah.
Good.
I failed him.
Good.
Misinformation.
Good.
Fucking.
You're like a fucking assassin with these failed grades.
F.
That's your way to kneecap somebody. F.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how much of this experience is coming into your comedy about working in the prison?
Oh, God, I feel like all of it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, sorry, I have so much. I try to sparse it out because I have so many more. I think I haven't recorded my first album yet, but I'm considering just doing one album of all of this incarceration stuff because I think I need to get it in and get it out because I'm going to there's more stuff that keeps happening and it's just so funny and it makes me laugh and there's just more and more things every day because
have you ever seen a guy in there and thought, oh, he's pretty hot if he wasn't in jail?
I could see how maybe in different circumstances they could be better looking. Unfortunately, incarceration is
they can't use moisturizer.
It's such a transitional it's such a difficult space for people and such a transitional time that doesn't allow you to be your best self. To then attract that attention.
Okay.
But I'm sure once released and on a positive, sober path that they could garner those.
What if someone ran into you like in the mall or somewhere like a couple years from now? Hey, I used to be in your prison class.
If I was single and they
killer abs and great arms.
And they, fuck looks. I don't care about looks. I give a shit. I could fall in love with
you gave me an F
man.
because I...
No, it's if they're on the right path, maybe, who am I don't want to discriminate. But I will say, I don't know if I could ever date an addict.
Yeah.
Addiction is something that's with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a difficult journey. And I don't have an addiction. And I've never dated an addict, but it would be hard, I would imagine, I don't know what, it's a challenging path. And, there's heroin addicts and meth addicts. And
I agree. That'd be difficult because I stopped drinking 10 years ago and like being around like super drunk people is really.
Yeah. Like.
And I know I was that guy too. Like super drunk and thinking you're saying something so smart and you're just repeating shit and spraying spit with
now
your
you're
peas.
Just a sober person look at all these fucking idiots.
Well, I mean, no, I don't mind it. I mean, if you can handle your shit, that's the thing.
Totally.
My last girlfriend was like, she could handle shots and shit. Like, and I could never do shots and hard liquor. I would just get sloppy drunk. But like, this person she could handle her shit like a Old West sheriff.
Yeah.
So some people can handle their shit.
It's hard not to share the thing you're sharing because my partner right now, he's a vegetarian and I find that very difficult. So I would imagine if I had a nice cocktail in front of me, I would want someone to try it, but that's where I need to mature and just understand.
What's your protein of choice?
Chicken, seafood and chicken, only because beef, it takes a lot longer to digest and same with lamb. And it doesn't help your body as much in regards to, I'm trying to be light. I'm trying to be ready, for everything whenever. And so I just feel like when I'm beef overeating on it weighs me down. Okay. So I like chicken and seafood. Yeah.
Cool. I love lamb though. Jesus.
I love lamb, but lamb has a scent that sticks with you. If you, on your breath or on, even after brushing, I just feel like lamb.
That's why you got to get it with mint sauce.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love me a good chutney on that lamb. Okay, Tom.
I only learned a couple years ago that lambs aren't adult sheep. They're children sheep.
They are the children.
So sometimes when I eat it now, I'll say, this one tastes ugly. Can you bring me a cuter one?
Oh, man.
I'm popping off my lines.
Or this one was a real asshole. He deserved to get eaten. Fucking little kids.
Yeah. So you are such a delight to watch on stage. You're so happy. I always think the hardest thing to watch is a comedian who's like not enjoying themselves, or
Thank you.
And your spirit is so infectious. You got a great smile. You're happy while you're on stage doing your thing. It's obvious.
Thank you. I feel it. I love it. I love being on stage. I think that's the only part of comedy that I actually like, is being on stage. Everything else I fucking hate about comedy. Everything off stage, I hate it. But the on stage part, I love it. And I'm bad at all the off stage part, the business, the networking, the social media aspect. But the on stage part, I thrive. I love it.
What about the writing, the jokes and stuff?
I love writing. I love these new ideas that come to my head. But for me, writing, I write with my mouth on stage. I have to like talk it out. Like I don't really have.
So you're one of those people where it comes to you. While
I'll have like just an idea or a premise and be like, let's go with this and see where I end up. Yeah.
Help me with this premise, because I have this premise, but I can't think of a funnier.
Let's go with it.
I think there should be special comedy clubs built just for the exes of comedians, for them to give their side of the story.
Oh, I like that.
It could be called the rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, I just like that as a good idea.
At the very least, it would be an interesting podcast.
Yeah.
Like they could play the clip of the comedian talking about the person or the incident, and then they give their maybe. I mean, it's just a premise.
I think what would be funny is if the people at the rebuttal got a chance to visit the other clubs like once a year. And then during their sets, they're like, "You didn't fucking do that," or like they get a chance to like, even though heckling's terrible, and don't ever heckle at comedy shows.
Never.
But if it was a planned thematized thing where the rebuttal got to visit when their exes were on stage or something, like we got to capitalize, we got to monetize on this, Tom. You got to get them.
It's not a great idea. I mean, it'd be a good podcast, I think.
Yeah, the exes speaking their piece.
Yeah.
Maybe. I always just feel like we're just gonna hear.
Do you have any unfinished premises you'd like to share?
Fuck, I have one where I use the word gay and people don't like it because everyone's a liberal fuck. But we were in class the other day.
You live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
I know. I'm a liberal fuck too. I was one of those women that was like, yeah, but Kamala Harris was blah blah blah. But
she's a cop. What?
And fuck those pigs.
She's not a woman of color.
No, the cop overrides it.
It's like finally get a woman of color in a high office, and people are like, "No, she's not good enough."
It's the power dynamics of it.
Wow.
She's abusing. But a premise I'm trying to work on is I came into work late after I had my holiday lunch with my boss.
And you
January.
said, "Where are you fucking going, prisoners?"
Yeah, right. No, but she gave me a margarita at lunch, and then I went to class after.
Oh, wow.
And I had a little buzz going, and she knew I had fucking class
Party
at
house
the gym.
prison.
I know. And then I hit my vape pen, and then I showed up to class late, so they showed a movie to wait for me. The RO, the officer was in there, and there was a movie playing with Julia Roberts. It came out in December. It's like End of the World. It's like an apocalyptic movie. And the movie was playing. So I was like, I'm going to sit down and enjoy this. I just hit my vape pen and had a margarita. I'm not in a rush. And then in the scene, Julia Roberts is around a pool with a young lady, and the young lady moves her arm where her armpit skin is exposed and there's armpit hair.
Okay.
And then one of the guys is like, is that armpit hair? And then another guy goes like, yeah, that is. And like, I wanted to whip my head around so fucking quick, but then I let them have their little, because I can't fight every fight. And then they keep going on about it. And I was like, man, it's just a little armpit hair. Quit being so gay, bro. And then everyone started dying laughing because the context, we're within incarceration. Like, you're supposed to be alpha male. You're not exposed to women at all. You're in jail.
Right.
This is a post-apocalyptic situation. And you still expect your armpits to be shaved? Bro, if you like the puss, like, you'd like the puss.
If you like the puss.
And if you don't, that's okay. But don't blame it on armpit hair. And so I just don't know where I'm going with it. But every time I say gay, like, don't be so gay, everyone's like, and I'm like, no, it's ironic, you idiot. It's ironic humor. It's okay to be gay, but we're in incarceration. And he's trying
like
to
he would turn down a woman if she had hair.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, and a little armpit hair turns you off. You're gay, bro. So that doesn't end well. So I'm still working on that one.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see.
Because everyone thinks I say gay in a mean way, I think.
Well, that roller skating story that I tell on stage, I used to tell it when I first started doing it, because this guy yells at me, skating is for F words. But he says I know I'm not being such a puss, not
I know, only words. Because we can all get canceled.
But so I would use the word.
Yeah.
And thinking, well, I'm the victim here. This guy yells it at me. So it's the way the story happened. I'm not calling someone that name.
And I feel like in that sense, we should be able to say it because we should also be able to disrupt what's happening. So only to convey the story
the
properly.
Harshness of it. I mean, it's but I could feel audiences. Like I was in Portland and I did it, and like and I could just. And fortunately, no one like yelled out and called me out on stage. But the feeling I had a few times when I did it in front of a couple of audiences, I was like, oh, I'll just make this simple change and say F words. Yeah. And rhymes with baggots. Yeah. And then, everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Right. When you say that, it's like, oh.
So maybe you need to do that with this joke. Like,
I'm stubborn. I want to do what you're saying. And
you're like me when I first started doing the joke, going, "Oh, but that's how."
But it's like, but also it sounds so funny. It reminds me of the '90s, when we were young and we're like, "Oh, it could be so gay, bro. Like you're gay." Like it just reminds me of that nostalgia a little bit. And it's like, oh damn, cancel culture is taking over everything. Where even if I'm not coming from a place of malice, I still cannot use that language, which is unfair. Because I'm not, like, I understand, like, the N-word with, I don't belong to that group. I understand this. But I'm just telling a story now. And I'm but then I guess justification can be used vice versa and the other way towards the N-word. So it's like, I guess, where's the line drawn of what word is appropriate? The F word, the N-word, gay. Like, what can I say so you're right. And I should think of a different word. But it was so funny in the moment. Like seeing a bunch of gangsters with cursive tattoos on their face, dying laughing. Because I was like, keep being so gay, bro. Like me, little curly hair girl in there saying it. So funny. Like just the rawness of the moment. Even he laughed. He was like, he got me, So it was a really funny moment.
He didn't fill out a complaint with the warden?
No, that would have been more gay. I'm going to make a complaint that I'm not gay. That's actually where I try to go because I told the CO on my way out, I had to tell him the joke. I was like, oh, this is what happened. And then I was like, oh, you're so gay. And then the CO was like, oh, you could get in trouble. And they could tell. And I was like, snitches get stitches. That's why I put that in. And then I'm working
you're gonna shank the guy.
Yeah. I was like, well, I think you're looking more gay if you told on me. And then I find that very funny, but people still feel offended by the gay part. Right. But I think it's hilarious. Like if he snitched, they're definitely gonna think he's gay now because he's so passionate about complaining about it. It's like, what are you trying to hide, bro?
It's hilarious. So because of your day job, you can't travel far for the stand-up.
I travel weekends. I can do like Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays. Like I'll do that. And honestly, I'm part-time. So
you can get away.
I can. And I'm still open to, I'm not on a specific path, like if comedy, I would love comedy to still be that thing. It's just as, you hit year 13, 14, you're like, maybe I should diversify my assets a little bit just in case. Health insurance is nice, and so I still dream and would like to do that. But I also am open to maybe becoming a professor and maybe I'm both. Maybe I manage an HBO special and a 10-year track job.
I like it.
I don't know.
I like it. Your stand-up special could be the course that you teach at the university.
Right?
Yeah. Breaking it down. Yeah. Why things are funny. See, this is why the justification of me using the word gay works because of the scenario.
Let's stop this heteronormative violence.
Heteronormative.
All right? This SF crowd will get a major boner for that. Heteronormative. We love that word.
What does that mean exactly? Like the way white people want it?
No, hetero, just normal hetero stuff.
Straight.
Like it's like, oh, I can't do a cheek to cheek kiss with that man. it made me look gay. It's like, quit being so heteronormative. Like, what the fuck? Like, let go. You know, be a little like, so yesterday you told a joke about that experience with the orgy. And you saw a beautiful this person and a beautiful that person.
Oh, no. It was, well, I when I was at Burning Man, I rode my bike accidentally by the orgy tent, and there was only one bicycle out front.
Oh, yeah. And then,
and you
were
just picture there was one guy in there. He's just like looking at his watch. They'll be here any minute.
Was there a joke that
I'll start peeling the grapes
about seeing different
But
bodies?
then I said, but the most powerful thing was there was this tent where people washed each other and everyone was naked.
Yes.
And it's all the different races. And
that was progressive of you. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me
you
what.
were combating heteronormativity in that sense because you were allowing yourself to be in a space and comfortable and even enjoying other people enjoying themselves the way they are. And even if it was maybe challenging what would be the straight space we should have between us as straight men.
Well, at the beginning, I felt uncomfortable, with these really attractive Canadian women who took me, and there was a couple guys that were with us, and and I'm like, I tell you what, had I not been obsessed with hot yoga for the past 2 years and looked fucking absolutely amazing naked, I wouldn't have done it. But the fact that my stomach muscles are ripped and I look really fantastic now, I've thought, what? If ever I'm going to be naked in front of a bunch of strangers, right now is the moment.
See, I love.
But then as the time went on, is standing in the line, the discomfort I felt from my Christian shame upbringing and then society and whatever. And then it's like, wow, there's all these different ethnicities of people and all these different ages and wow, to see everyone naked and there's their genitals and like their bodies, it was like it was really enlightening that wow, we're all just this one community, and there wasn't anything sexual about it, which was really great. It's hard to describe this connection to humanity that I felt, that we're all naked and vulnerable, but we're really hot and we just want to cool off. And then here's everyone working together to have a little relief from this fucking oppressive 105-degree heat.
And being able to think that way and not confined to, well, what's masculine? What's straight? How do I behave straight? This isn't straight. I can't do that. It's like, well, now you're limiting yourself. It's like, quit being so. And heteronormative could also be, I get married. I only have sex with my straight wife as a straight husband, and we only stay married and have kids and then only fuck each other. That's also heteronormative, because if you're in an open relationship, that's not heteronormative. If you're open to watching, that's not heteronormative. Or if you're open to, even loving different types of bodies, because, you're like, I feel comfortable because the heteronormativity of our world doesn't let us love ourselves in our, even right now I'm wearing a crop top and I'm a thicker lady with things to grab onto. So wearing a crop top, a heteronormative idea would be, I don't have the waist to wear that, but I said, fuck it. I'm going to fucking love myself and let people see this shit.
Wear the outfit you want to wear.
And so that's me disrupting heteronormativity also. Okay, it's like, good. I am a size 8 and showing 8 to 10, showing my waist. Not only size 2 to 4s can do it. And so we can disrupt heteronormativity sexually.
Fuck you, world.
Yeah, fuck you, world. And you can disrupt it in so many ways. Through institutionally, through not marrying and having kids, through sexually, through orgies, through wearing different clothes. Through through a lot of stuff.
Nice. Well, thank you for saying you thought that little story was progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I did it in Florida a couple times, and the different reaction from doing it in Florida to Northern California is
oh yeah, Florida's like, oh, that shit's gay, bro. You're fucking gay.
No, just it's all like this fucking satanic orgy attendant.
Yeah, there's a fruitcake.
California people are like, oh wow, that sounds like
they're like, fun. And yeah. Tell me when you suck a dick.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah. Wow. So What's the? I mean, you tell us more about yourself. We don't have too much time left. What do you want the world to know about?
Oh man,
you.
Fuck. That's so. I want them to know that I like to laugh, and I got sass, and I like to eat tacos. And they should come out to a show.
That's not a metaphor.
Oh, wait. Was I only supposed to say one thing?
No. I said, and that's not a metaphor.
Oh, yeah. That's not a metaphor.
Yeah, I actually really like tacos.
I do. We're actually going to go have tacos after this.
I can't wait. I went to Mexico a few months ago, and my whole trip was based around tacos. I love that. I wanted to swim in the cenotes of the Yucatan.
I love that.
But I was just like taco obsessed. I think it's the best thing about California.
I have a dream birthday party that if I ever have a chef friend, I want to have a birthday party where they make Shan tacos. And that's Shanti tacos, which is just like different flavors of things, like Indian taco, different vibes of if I were to be a taco. Shan tacos. So that's my dream.
I like it.
My dream meal at my birthday party. Not a sexual innuendo in any way.
A couple years ago, Angela Johnson had a birthday party.
Was it a fucking taco
And she had a fucking taco party.
God damn it.
She had a little taco station, and there was a little chef there, and it was fucking awesome.
First my nail joke, now this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I never had a nail joke.
That's a great idea.
I love tacos. They are a hit.
What's your favorite ones?
I would love a carne asada taco or grilled shrimp. Okay. And I love beer battered fish tacos.
Oh, I love that.
Not a grilled fish taco.
I like carnitas too. I'm a big fan.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Birria is nice.
And then
too.
What's the red sauce chicken? Is it not adobo? That's like Filipino, but it's
chicken adobo. But I could eat a chicken adobo taco too.
Anyway, yeah, let's go get some tacos.
Yeah.
So, what are your 3 favorite movies of all time? Your 3 favorite songs of all time? What's your 3 favorite?
One of my favorite movies of all time that I make sure to watch every year is The Dark Knight.
The Batman movie?
Yeah, the Batman movie. Okay. I fucking love that
movie. With Michael Keaton?
Yeah, no, with
Prince.
The guy that died. Oh my God.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah. I just love that movie. I think it's
where he plays the Joker. Yeah, that's one of the best ever.
I love an action movie. I love Apex Predator movie. Like if I'm ever sad, let's put on a shark movie.
Really?
I just want to watch an Apex Predator let loose, you know? Fucking dinosaur, Jurassic Park.
Did you see Cocaine Bear?
No, I haven't seen that one. I didn't
see that yet.
I didn't see that one because it just seemed like a lot of bullshit and not like a real Lake Placid. Like, show me an alligator that's fucking really big that's going wild after a tsunami. You know, that's what I want to see.
Okay. But did you see The Revenant?
I did.
Like that could have been Leonardo DiCaprio could have gotten the bear off of him. He just like cut him up a line of cocaine on the side.
Oh, that would have been. Well, maybe I should watch it then. It wasn't snow.
See, these bears can't resist cocaine. That's that's the lesson, the moral of that. You know. And are you a reader? What kind of books do you enjoy?
You know, I feel like lately I've just been reading for the purposes of school. I went through my master's program, and a lot of reading I've been doing is mainly academic. But I did recently read a book, and I have to look up the name. It's about a gay man that was a meth addict in San Francisco.
Do you have to describe him that way? Is there any?
Because that's how he described himself to be. He's like, "Hello, I'm a gay man and a recovering meth addict."
Just based on what we talked about 10 minutes ago.
The institution's getting to me. Now I'm just seeing people as their fucking PFN, as their profiles, as their police profiles, their reports.
So I'm sorry, I was just fucking around. What's the book?
I have to look it up now real quick. But the book is about the gay culture and drug addiction within the gay culture and how it's a huge problem. And I just found it fascinating because it's sexual and drugs were involved. And I'm just like, whoa, this is nuts. Wow. So I'm looking up the book now. But is there any book recommendations you have for me? I've got
a million.
I like things that
ragged trousered philanthropists.
Okay.
is a great book.
What is that one about?
Socialism it's like 100 years ago. These people, these workers in England. It's just, these people the system has got them beat. They don't even own the furniture, and they're all completely broke, but they hate foreigners, and they're very patriotic. And anytime anyone comes around giving a speech for socialism, they get their asses beat. Like they're so staunchly defending the system that fucking keeps them poor and broke and unhappy.
I like the irony of that, actually. How
this Irish comedian gave it to me years ago, and the description doesn't sound like it'd be that great, but an incredible book.
I like books like that shed light on these larger macro issues and honestly macro idiocracies that people partake in. You're like, look at these fucking idiots. I like books like that shed light on how idiot they are. Tweaker World was the name of the book.
Tweaker World, okay.
Tweaker World. So very San Francisco vibe. He talks about San Francisco a lot. It's very Bay Area.
What's the most San Francisco Bay Area thing about you?
Oh my God, the way I talk.
Okay.
I think East Bay. I think people always come up and they'll be like, where in the Bay Area are you from? And I'll be like, guess. And they'll try to guess it to the T. I'm from Union City, but I get I get Hayward and San Leandro and Oakland or East Bay vibes a lot. But if you're very Bay Area, you'll be able to target where in the East Bay.
Wow. Okay.
And so I think just the way I speak, bruh, hella.
That's such a Northern California
sometimes people are shocked at how old I am. I act like a fucking 29-year-old child with sometimes how much I talk, with the way I talk. And I think that's Bay Area too. We don't grow up. We stay young. Bay Area.
Because you're cool.
Yeah.
And you said that when I was asking you where you were from in the Bay Area, that you were like, guess. And you said that Fremont is known for having a large Indian population. I did not know that, because I know one person from Fremont, and it's a white woman.
Yeah, yes. So, I live in Union City, which is just on the outskirts. But yeah, Fremont is very Indian, and that's why actually Fremont has the best education system in the country. I think one of the top education systems in the country, Fremont, because all these fucking Indian nerds, they all came and they're like, we need better schools here, and then they just made all the schools really great. Well, and so the school
chutney sauce at lunchtime,
it gets the brain going. Almonds in the morning, chutney sauce at lunch, chai at night. There you go.
Chai, yeah.
Okay,
well, it's been an absolute delight talking to you, and I'm glad I love this gig, this Prune Yard Cinemas. Like, we're in a movie theater.
I love it.
People have these reclining chairs. It sounds like it would be a really horrible gig to play in a movie theater, but
it's really fun. I will say the loungy vibe scares me sometimes, only because what lounging can do to the body when we're trying to laugh.
Right.
And so that part, I always get
You said you didn't
worried.
like the bottoms of the feet pointed
because that means they're laying down fully. Who laughs hard when they're laying down fully? If I can see the bottom of your foot, my joke isn't going to do that well.
But the whole like Prune Yard, this little whatever, this fancy outdoor shopping area with eateries, and
it looks really lovely.
Awesome.
Honestly, I'm kind of excited to go eat, because when I was walking to the space yesterday, it's just like, look at everyone enjoying the sun, eating outside. Date nights. Yeah. Married folks on their date nights.
Oh my God, that was it. You were talking about you're not good on social media, but what social media of yours I've seen, there's clips of you and some other woman talking about men and like sexual experiences that you've had.
Oh yeah, maybe. Is there? I actually interviewed a sex worker and a dominatrix for my podcast.
Okay, because I think anyone who's thinking about having sex with you should be warned that you're going to be given reviews on your social media. It's like, so, either bring your game or like
no, there's never bad reviews. I make it good. If I have to make it good, I'll fucking make it good, because we are not ending here with a negative experience. It took too much time, So, but yeah, I think the dominatrix, a lot of ball stepping came into that conversation, because she uses these high heels to step on balls.
Ouch.
And then I got a lot of private DMs like, how much will you step on my balls? Wow. And then will you send me feet photos? And it never happened.
Wow.
I sent one guy, he's like, how much for foot photos? I said $500. And he said, who do you think you are? And I said, what the fuck?
Wow.
So I don't know. I just gave a price. Anyways, we're starting a whole separate conversation.
I love it. I don't have, that. I wish I had more fans. I wish I had more listeners and stuff to the podcast. But
you do.
2 of my biggest fans is husband and wife. They've been coming to see me in San Francisco forever.
Nice.
And they drove down an hour last night.
Oh, and that's lovely.
Yeah, and they said that you sent me a beautiful email today that they've been having some just different troubles and things that they've been struggling with, and that the show really meant a lot to them. And then getting a hug after the show and just like made me feel like whatever shit's been bothering me for the last like however long, like just how important it is what we do, and you don't know who's going through what troubles. Yeah, that they would be cheered up and be able to forget their troubles for 5 minutes. Anyway, they brought me this gift. It's a Muhammad Ali card.
Oh, how cool.
And look, that little square is from his robe.
Oh, wow.
And that little square is a piece from his
gift.
glove. And I'm like a nerd with different collector cards and stuff. I think that's the greatest card that I own.
That's a really amazing
And they brought
gift.
What a beautiful gift, huh?
It's like they become family, these
some of the fans I have,
for so long. Through time, we experience life.
I got 2, Corey and Bobby in Minneapolis. I was just there. It felt like visiting family.
Totally.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful. And that's a beautiful gift. And I'm so glad that they love you like that, but also that you have people that love you, that that you have fans like that, because that means a lot, because sometimes comedy can suck, and sometimes you feel like, are people even listening or invested? Yeah. And so when those people show up, it's really nice. So thank you to those people.
Thank those people. And I'm just saying that, no one DMs me asking me to step on their balls, but I've got
Step it up, Tom. Step it up.
I've got some really special people that really love me and care about me. And that's better than being a dominatrix. No, I feel happy. I'm getting a lot of love. And Shanti, I think you're hilarious. I love watching you on stage.
Oh my gosh, I think you're hilarious, and I feel so excited to have even been invited to be on your podcast, and so excited to be working with you all weekend. So I'm super stoked.
Beautiful. In closing, is there any words of wisdom or advice you'd like to give to the people of the earth?
Wash your butts. Short and sweet. Thank you so much.
Spin that bar around. Works better than liquid soap. All right. Hooray for humanity.